I think it's one thing to say, I'm going to focus on myself, or I don't care about men, right? I don't care about men. I, feel like men are like this. These are been my experience. Y'all do X, Y, and Z, right? That's one thing, right? Or what I'm saying is like, there's one thing to say, hey, these are the sociological patterns that I'm seeing within the behaviors of men, right? Here's the context. Here's patriarchy. Here's how Black women have been treated historically. Here's this intersection between the media, like, and maybe you don't have to say it like that. Like, there's one thing to say, hey, here's some confounding evidence about the normalization of certain behaviors that are harmful towards women and have been harmful towards me, right? Here is this information that talks about men and boys and their conditioning, right? Like, that's a constructive conversation, right? But I think it's another thing to be screaming at the phone all day, right? Making all this content in continuous rage and anger and perpetual frustration in regards to men and your relationships with them, and simultaneously say, this is not what you want, right? Simultaneously say, this is not what you want. You are done with it. Like, this is X, Y, and Z. And this is, this would happen to me and my life is X, Y, and Z. And it's not about bitter. I think for a lot of, people who have had certain experience and maybe, have had really bad experiences, right? I don't want to invalidate that. I do think, having emotional resilience and being someone who's just tenacious plays a huge role. But at the same time, I'm not going to minimize anybody's experience, especially with harm in regards to heterosexual relationships or just, relationships in general. But I do think that there's almost like this obsession of like being something that you're not, And I guess what I'm saying is like, I don't know how you can say I'm against this thing and spend your entire life defending this thing, or spend your entire content, critiquing this thing, arguing with this thing, going back and forth with this thing, right? Like, and I think that's why I say all that to say I really do hate certain like relationship content creators that are women, because the obsession is insane. Like when I think about some of the content creators that I love for like the NAACP, social media nominations, absolutely love beauty content. You know what I mean? I really do miss the days when we would talk about celebrities and it was like, who cares? Like you can say whatever you want. Like maybe they were that outsource of like gossip and like it really wasn't the end of the world because it's like, who cares? And so, yeah, I just absolutely love beauty and fashion content for a lot of women. Not saying that that's what women should do in terms of regulation and what they should, what they have to do. But I do think overall, I don't get the obsession with like the men thing.